If you feel like email marketing hasn't really been paying off for you because you created this lead magnet, but now it's not really growing your list, then this episode is for you because I'm going to teach you what to pay attention to when you are creating new lead magnets or not, and how to get new subscribers on your email list with an automated effort. So that means less effort, more return on investment for you. Hello, and welcome to the Fast Forward Amy Show, the show where we lift your life and business with simple strategies. I'm Fast Forward Amy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode every Tuesday. You know how excited you get when you get a new idea for a freebie or so-called lead magnet? And you also know, if you're anything like me, how much over it you are by the time you've actually launched it because it took you so long to work on it. I know I do for a fact, and one of the most asked questions I get about email marketing is, Amy, how do I make sure I can keep growing my list after I've published my first or many more lead magnets? And today I'm going to walk you through exactly that. And in order to do that with you, in order to grow your list, I have with me my whiteboard, which is one of many whiteboards in my house, because I have a small whiteboard problem, addiction, and also markers. I'm also not the only one who has this problem. My team is actually in on this because these new markers were not bought by me, but by my marketing coordinator, Robin. She's also very much into whiteboards, and I believe any entrepreneur should have multiple whiteboards in their house. By the way, it's not just me, because I was watching Undercover Billionaire a while back, which is a really great TV show. It talks about how 3 billionaires went undercover. I think it's on Discovery Channel? Yeah? National Geographic? No, Discovery Channel. Sounds the same. It's not the same. 3 billionaires go undercover and they get a cell phone with no numbers, an old car, and they get $100. And they start with nothing, and in 90 days they need to build up a business that's worth over $1 million. Really cool show. Some people have different opinions, but I really like the show. I like learning from what they do and how they approach things, and almost nothing made me happier than when Grant Cardone was sitting in an almost empty living room with all kinds of whiteboards on the wall for all of his ideas. For me, I'm mostly a visual thinker, so for me it really helps when I'm feeling overwhelmed or I need to regain some clarity to actually draw some stuff. And I know that in the podcast we might have been missing some visual cues because you might be listening, but if you're watching on YouTube or IGTV, it's fun to see what's happening. So I'm going to teach you how you can continue to grow your list. And I want to ask you to really be open to this, because you might be thinking, but Amy, I already know this. Okay, but are you doing it? This is the question I ask my clients all the time. I also ask myself this. Most of the things I need to accomplish, I know how to do, but am I actually doing them? I know I need to take my supplements and that I will feel better, but I filled out this box with all of my supplements, and I filled it out for like mornings and evenings, 7 days in a row, and I feel like I take them every day. I feel like I take them every morning and every night, but by the end of the week, when I look at the box, only like 50% of the pills are gone, so apparently I don't take them every day, and I don't think you are doing everything you can. Some of the things, by the way, are really easy that you can do actually to grow your list. So let's have a look, okay? So rule number 1, when you have lead magnets, freebies, whatever you use to grow your list, which is like a free download, people will give you their email address and their name, for example, in return, is you got to make sure that your lead magnet actually leads to your core offer. Now, what do I mean by that? What you are selling is here, right? I put a euro sign or a dollar sign, whatever. You want to work backwards, which is called reverse engineering. You have your core offer here, your offer. And we want to work backwards, and we want to make sure that we get people on our email list, because on our email list, we can actually pitch them really easily to our core offer. We just had, last month, we had a 200K sales day, and we did that almost all through email and direct messaging. So that's wild. And we get people on our email list through our downloads, our lead magnets. I give that a download sign. This is the download sign. Pardon me for my drawing skills. Despite the fact that I'm in love with whiteboards, my drawing skills are not amazing. You will see more of that later. So this might seem really obvious to you, but what a lot of people do is they start on social media. And this is a phone. I know it's a very ugly phone, but okay. And it should be like this, right? You should be posting free content on social media that actually leads to a download you have to offer, then your email should be in line with that and pitch to your core offer. What a lot of people do though is they just spend a lot of time on social media. They forget to pitch to their download, and they make a download that is not aligned with their core offer. And they also don't email and pitch about their offer, or they do, but they don't talk about free value. So there's a lot of shit going on there. And what you should do is you should make sure that this is in order, like before you do anything else. But once you know that you actually have free content that's aligned with free content that people give you details for, that's aligned with what you're actually pitching, then we can start growing your list. So next up is, once you have a lead magnet that people actually want, and that leads to your core offer that's aligned. So for me, that could be, for example, I make a podcast episode about launching your podcast. I have a free guide about starting your podcast, and I have a mini course that I offer on actually building a profitable podcast. So I start with, hey, this is how you launch it and get people to listen. Then I make it so that, hey, this is how you set up your podcast so that actually people keep listening and they go to your email list. And then I can create a product that is all about how you can create a profitable podcast. That would be a really good, like, those would be good phases. Speaking of which, I made the mistake, because guess what we did? We have a podcast episode about, free content. So that could be the phone content on Instagram, but it could also be like a podcast episode, right? I'm gonna try and draw a microphone. I'm very bad at drawing microphones. I always end up making them look like something else, but I did a fairly good job here. So we made a podcast episode about starting a podcast. Then we made a lead magnet about starting a podcast. They were aligned. And then nothing. Oops. No pitch. So that's basically a lot of money not well spent on a podcast. Now, thing is, I do know that starting a podcast is something that really interests my clients, and that is something that I can capture them with, put them on my email list, and then sell them into a bigger program like our Business Freedom Elevator or our Boss Up Mentorship. By the way, if you're interested in actually doing online marketing and building up your authentic authority and also building a scalable business model that's smart and that looks like a flow like this, then go and check out if you might be a good fit for our Business Freedom Elevator. Because if you go to fastforwardamy.com/elevator, you can find all of the information on our 6-month business coaching program that will get you to a profitable place in your business where you can really achieve freedom both in your business as well as in your life. Let's move on though, right? So I've used blue and red, my favorite colors. I'll go for black, like my heart. No, just kidding, like my coffee. Okay, so granted that you have this, let's go to a different page. Now we are going to mind map about how you can actually make sure that you grow that list, because what tends to happen is you make that and then you forget to promote it, right? So growing your list will look like this. The first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that you are promoting it weekly, daily. So, for example, for me, that could look like on my Instagram, I have a really well-performing download about how to set up systems for your online business, like my 11 favorite systems for your online business. And for the longest time, every Sunday night, I promoted it with a slide in my stories, like swipe up if you want our systems Bible. And that did really well. So like once every 7 days, we were just promoting it. For you, it could be that you have this training, like you're a mom coach and you teach moms how to, take a sensory break from their kids while they're running around you. I don't know if anyone offers that. That would be great for moms. So let's say you have a 10-minute audio training that really gets moms to this place where they are centered and they don't want to yell at their kids anymore, which would be a really great invention. You could, like every Friday, maybe you pitch that. Every Friday you might be making a story about that free download, and every Friday, like let's say that training has like 20 tips or is like a guided audio training, then every Friday you could share one tip and then be like, do you want more tips on how to accomplish this? Download. If you do that every week, then that's 52 pitches. In reality though, it will seem like we've pitched it a lot, although it's a free offer, it's still pitching. But we will not have done it like even 10 times. I know I have spent heaps of time on creating new lead magnets and then barely promoted them. So you want to put more time into promoting them than they're actually putting time into creating them. That's kind of like the flip, the switch, the script. I don't know how to say this. Most of us spend time on creating new lead magnets, new lead magnets, new lead magnets, because you're also kind of afraid, like, what if I go all in on this one lead magnet? I try to promote it and it fails. Sometimes we think, oh, this podcast episode sucked, or oh, this lead magnet sucked, but we just never really promoted it, which might be the same with your paid offers, is that you feel like you've pitched it, but maybe you talked about it once. You can't say it didn't work unless you've tried it 10 times. So if you have a really great lead magnet and you tested it out beforehand, if people actually wanted it, and you start promoting it, you should actually, according to the highlight effect, which is that you should, like the spotlight effect is for you something is really clear, but other people need to hear it 8 to 10 times. So that means that we are using the highlight effect, which is what I invented, is that you need to highlight it 10 times in order to make it work. So we should highlight our systems Bible 10 weeks in a row or 10 times in a row, which means we might do it Tuesdays and Fridays for like 5 weeks straight. And then we've done that 10 times. As I'm saying this, I'm thinking like, shit, every month we should have one lead magnet that we really promote the out and see if it actually paid off. See, that's what I like when I can create podcast episodes that actually like speak to myself as well. I know I create a lot of beginner episodes, but I was thinking it's also really important that we talk about the growth factors, not just starting, but actually like making sure it grows, because getting started is confusing, but you can do it. It's actually sticking to it and keep on going. That's the hard part, which is exactly what we help our students do in our 6-month business coaching programs and our courses, obviously. But I want to help you do that here too. So have you been promoting it? My guess is not. I know when clients ask me that, I'm like, okay, but where have you been promoting it? Yeah, I talked about it once. Okay, if you want people to sign up every day, you got to be promoting it every day. If you want people to sign up every week, you got to be promoting it every week, okay? Don't be annoying. Make sure you offer value before you promote it. That's the best way to go. But for me, as I have a lot of podcasts and tips on my feed, for example, I could get away with just like putting a promotional post about a lead magnet once every week and just straight up being like, hey, do you want to download this? Okay, cool. So automate your promotion, which means for me, I would just plan in a story slide every week. For you, it could mean that you create a mock-up, for example, of your ebook that you're offering as a free download, and every week on a Friday, on a Sunday, on a Saturday, on a Monday, or any other of the other days, you just put it on your feed and you're like, hey, babe, you want to download this? This will teach you what to do. Focus on the benefits, the transformation, what your guide will offer, and then people are going to go ahead and download. Obviously, make sure you have a good call to action, like click the link in bio or go to this link. And if you have swipe ups in your stories, that works even better. Here I talk about automating. What would be even better, which is what I should be doing, is what I should be planning to do in my calendar, is you actually create a whole story about it. And I'm talking a literal story. Like, I get new followers every week because of all of my content and my podcasts. And what I should be doing is every Friday, for example, I can take an hour of my time and actually create a whole storyline about something that actually then leads to a download. And that works really well. Now, you might be thinking, that's a lot of time and effort. I don't have that. But don't you? Like, if you're looking for new leads because you want to sell more, it might be worth it though, instead of just automating everything to create that story. Because for me, automating it versus actually doing that, like doing it is one of the most valuable things I can do and something that my team can't do for me. Sure, we can automate, we can edit podcasts and all of that, but creating that story and spending an hour on doing that, but then getting hundreds of swipe ups, that's something only I can do. Now, you might not have 60,000 followers like I have on Fast Forward Amy, but believe me, even with a smaller audience, and when you have 10 people downloading it, and you have 10% of people who then buy, that means that you, from that story, you got a new client, all on autopilot because you have that whole flow set up. So it definitely will pay off. And then those other 9 people might be ready to buy in a while. So it's so good to just get people in the bucket. I wish I had a bucket. Okay. Now, something else that's more like, because this was automating, what's really nice that you can automate is you can link your lead magnets in evergreen content, which is, for example, like what I'm doing right now with my podcast, or what you could do with a YouTube channel, right? So if you have a YouTube channel, my brother has one, he's a time-lapse photographer. He has this channel, and for example, he'll talk about passive income, and then in something he made about passive income, he'll link to the downloads. People will download a free guide, and there they will get pitched to the paid ebook. That's how we do it as well. In our podcasts, every time I link to a free download, like here, we know that you really care about growing your email list, so we've got you. We created this guide that will help you to actually grow your list, not start your list, but grow your list with a few like worked out examples instead of just the overview I'm giving you here. You can go and download that through fastforwardamy.com/grow your list, or clicking the link in the description. And you can just like download it, print it out, whatever, in Dutch or in English, you can choose. And there will be 3 worked out examples for you on how to specifically work with automating the growth of your email list. And I'll even include a template for your stories in there. So definitely worth it. And you might be listening to this episode on the day I launch it, which is like every Tuesday. Or maybe a year from now, you stumble on my podcast and you're like, wow, this Amy chick is really great. I want to learn from her. I'm going to go and grab this guide. That is evergreen content. Be that from my YouTube video, on IGTV, or on the podcast like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. If you're listening to me in a while from now, so hello future, and you then go and download that guide that I'm offering you right now, that is an automated way of just growing my list through evergreen content, which is basically content that keeps on running, right? It's really nice, especially because for us, we also turn every podcast episode into an article on my blog, fastforwardamy.com, and there we try to optimize our SEO. So it might also be that someone is like, how can I grow my list? Then this article pops up, and then you just can keep finding us, and the list will keep growing because we're offering that download in the article as well. That's how we do it, right? So that means after a while, we're just promoting that episode or that video, and in the conversion to that download then will happen by itself. The conversion to the offer, if there's an offer behind that, will also happen by itself. So it's really smart. What you can also do is when you already have an audience in your list, you can just offer them the downloads. This might sound weird, but it's really important that you don't forget who's already on your list. So I know we're talking about growing your list, but one of the best ways to do that is to make sure that the people on your list actually love what you have to offer to them. So you could actually think about just sending them the new downloads once they're ready. Like, hey, you're on my list. I really appreciate you. Created this guide. Here you go. No extra buttons, no extra links or things to type out. Just for them, hey, here you go. I thought you might like it. And they will really appreciate it. And you could be like, hey, P.S., if you like this, forward it to a friend who could benefit from it. And they might look at it too, and then in the end, they will revert back to that document and resource, and maybe those people will come and sign up or buy from you as well. You can do that in a broadcast, but you can also just include your lead magnets in your automated email sequences, so people are like, holy how much value am I getting here? I will never unsubscribe from this list. Because just like one of the best ways to get rich is by not spending all of your money, one of the best ways to grow your list is to actually make sure the people on your list are really loving being on your list, right? And then obviously a really big thing you can do is create ads on your lead magnets. Not just ads on your offers, but just ads on your lead magnets. Now, what I do want to say is a lot of people set up ads when they don't even know how to convert organically. If you are someone, sorry, I'm going to be rude, but if you can't even get your existing audience to opt into your lead magnet and download it, how are you going to be able to set up ads to get people to download it? Either work with an expert who can teach you how to, or make sure that your organic marketing is working first and then start spending money on ads. But once you know you have something that people really like, for us, for example, it's our time management checklist, you can start running an ad on it. And you can even just look at it like, how would I convert people who are already in my audience and who are warm and ready to download? Make sure that you think about how would people react to this if they're not in my audience yet. Create like a slide for your stories or whatever. Put an ad on it through your Facebook Ads Manager. Make sure the ad also goes to Instagram, for example. And there you have swipe ups. Because you might not have swipe ups, but you do have swipe ups when you make it into an ad. So it's actually not that difficult. Well, it is and it isn't. The thing with ads is that it's very unuser friendly to set it all up, and you gotta pay attention to it. But take it from someone who did a $1 million launch without ads. I did have some ads running before my $1 million launch, and they were running for like a year, and they were bringing in new leads to our email list every single day, just because the lead magnet was something people actually wanted, so it didn't really matter that the ad was a little bit crappy. But again, if the lead magnet isn't something people want, or it's not leading to your offer, it's not the right audience, it's not going to work anyway. So make sure that is in order, and then you can start experimenting with ads. But if it's really difficult for you, like if you have 1,000 followers and no one wants to download your lead magnet, chances are small it's going to work with an ad. Feel free to disagree. Talking about ads is a whole other episode. I might be saying things I'm going to regret, but take it with a grain of salt. Is that a saying in English? I don't know. In Dutch it is. Neem het met een korreltje zout. Okay. There's a bunch of other things you could be doing, but I think these are the most important things. And what I want to say here is, obviously there's a bunch of different things, and you can go and grab the Grow Your List guide where I like outline how you can use 3 different strategies to actually do this. But what I want to add here is when you look at this, you really have to look at it like this. You want to continue doing all of this. Have a new lead magnet, put another ad on it. Did this 10 times, okay, switch it up. Created a really good story that one time last summer, maybe put it in your calendar that every week you create a new story. Maybe send out, like make sure that your broadcasts are turned into email sequences, and make sure that you are actually not forgetting to pitch to your lead magnets in all of that really great content you're already creating, be that blog posts, Pinterest posts, videos, podcasts, doesn't matter. Please, for the love of God, don't create a podcast without having it lead to lead magnets, because it's not a playground. It's not a playground. You are putting a lot of time and effort into building up this authority, but your content will fade after a while. So make sure that as long as it's doing really well, you actually capture your audience. Because when I started growing my list, I was growing my Instagram, and I grew to like 50,000 followers. And I was like, oh, I'll just be making Instagram posts. I don't have time for a lead magnet. And I was really terrified, because I was like, I gotta make this guide and offer that for free. And even though it's free, it's gotta be the best thing in the world, because I gotta do this really well. So in the meantime, I spent an hour on each Instagram posts, and I posted 4 times a day in order to grow. And I kept postponing creating that really good lead magnet. And then by the time I finally had it, obviously I couldn't reach those 50,000 people anymore, because it's far easier to reach them as they are starting to follow you. So right now, one of the things I do is when someone follows me, they're like, hello, I'm going to follow you. I'm like, hi, I'm going to send you a DM with a link to my free Facebook group. We have a free Facebook group, by the way, if you want to look for Fast Forward Family on Facebook. I send them a link and I'm like, hey, do you want to watch my free webinar? This is going to teach you how to do this and this and that. And welcome. And by the way, let me know if you have any questions. Boom. Some people might hate that, but it's not automated. I do that manually. And it really works. And that's how I make sure that all of the efforts I put into growing my Instagram actually pays off, and I get people to my email list. And from there, I can get them back to my podcast, and I can keep giving value and value and value until they are at the point that they trust me and they have the desire to buy something from me that will benefit them. And that's what we want to do. Okay, so I hope that I have been able to convince you of the value of growing your list. And if you've started it out, or like if you've started it and it kind of like fell flat on its belly, like these, it's time to get your shit together and start growing it. So go to fastforwardamy.com/grow your list to grab your growth guide. And I can't wait to see you hit that next mark. Set a target for yourself. Look at your dashboard of your subscribers every day. And like, if you want to hit 1,000 subscribers and you have 200 now, okay, that's 800 to go. Look at how many a day you need to be hitting. Even if it's like conversations in the DMs you need to be having or putting ads on it, doesn't matter. Make sure you hit your target step by step, okay? Good luck, and talk to you next week. If you're still interested, by the way, don't forget that the Business Freedom Elevator is going to be closing its doors soon. So go to fastforwardamy.com/elevator. Honestly, you know you want to. You've been waiting for it. If you're English speaking, I'm sorry, we'll be recording the English version soon because my team is making me. If you're Dutch speaking, you know you want to follow this coaching program. We have started. We are ready to welcome you. We can't wait to turn all of our Business Freedom Elevator students into absolute rock stars with fantastic, authentic authority, huge name recognition in their industry, with a wildly profitable business model that gives them the freedom to work from anywhere with the clients they love, and all of that stuff of the cheesy speeches people give. It's not a cheesy speech. It's not a bullshit pitch. Our clients have gone from making a couple of thousand of euros to literally millions in a year. We have clients who were not profitable, who were working for someone and side hustling and thought they never wanted to go full time. We have so many clients who, in the span of those 6 months of coaching with us, have quit their jobs, who have, in the 6 months after that, even hired their first employees. You don't have to hire employees. You don't have to quit your job. But you do owe it to yourself to choose for freedom. So if you want to have more freedom in your life and in your business, get your ass through that door. Go to fastforwardamy.com/elevator and come and sign up for coaching.